morning to all. So today is July 1. So welcome again to our Upper Fellowship Center for our ASK divisional. And we are happy that our missionaries from Hartman College is there, and we enjoy their company and their sharing to us. So this morning, I would like to announce the participants of our program. Our singing tradition and opening song was played by Sister Narciso, Reverend Narciso. And then the opening prayer was played by Ma'am Rosalyn Magnifico. And then assisted with piano Ma'am Sabrina. Okay. And then before Mr. Kevin will share to us this morning, we will be listening first the special song to be rendered by our KST workers. And this in the time.
Good morning, everyone. Before I start to share my devotion, let's bow our head again and we ask for the Lord for His Holy Spirit. Let's pray. Our Father in heaven, we thirst and hunger for your soul, for your Holy Spirit, Father. We ask that your Holy Spirit will be in our hearts and speak to us personally, Father. In the name of Jesus Christ, we pray. Amen. This morning, I would like to share from the book of 2 Kings, a story about King Hezekiah. And you know, it's very appropriate for our opening song and special music. And our opening song, it says, I sing the mighty power of God. And it says, I sing the wisdom that ordained the sun to rule the day. The moon shines full at His command, and all the stars obey. And you will understand why I say it's very appropriate when for my message. Furthermore, our special music is about, we want an amazing that God, that a man can save our soul. We longed for His healing and grace. And this is very appropriate because these 2 points is what I'm going to focus today. If you have your Bible with you today, please turn with me to the book of 2 Kings chapter 20. The book of 2 Kings chapter 20. We're going to talk about King Hezekiah. 2 Kings chapter 20, verse 1. It says, In those days was Hezekiah sick unto death. And the prophet Isaiah the son of Amoz came to him, and said unto him, Thus saith the Lord, Set thine house in order, for thou shalt die and not live. So this King Hezekiah, suddenly a prophet came to his home and says, You will surely die because you're sick. It's just like when a doctor or you say your patient has a cancer, you will surely die. That's the condition that Hezekiah in. And it is a crisis in his life. And verse 2, it says, Then he turned his face to the wall and prayed unto the Lord, saying, I beseech thee, O Lord, remember now how I have walked before thee in truth and with a perfect heart. And have I done that which is good in thy sight? And Hezekiah wept sore. So Hezekiah's reaction is very normal. When someone tells you you're going to die, and you're sick and you're going to die, Hezekiah is very in despair, let me put it that way. But this is the beauty that we have in God. The beauty that we have someone we can rely on. If we are in crisis, you're sick or you feel that you're going to die, or in this case as a nurse or as a physician, when your patient is going to die, whatever it may be, you have the assurance that God is in control and He can work miracles. You can always turn to God and He will answer your prayer. But let me not go over what I'm going to say. I'm going to read again and tell you the story. And it came to pass, before Isaiah was gone out into the middle court, that the word of the Lord came to him, saying, Turn again and tell Hezekiah the captain of my people, Thus saith the Lord, the God of David, thy father, I have heard thy prayer, I have seen thy fears, behold, I will heal thee. On the third day thou shalt go up unto the house of the Lord. So the story is like this. Hezekiah is sick. The prophet Isaiah told him, You're going to die. And then Hezekiah wept, prayed to the Lord, saying to the Lord, have I not done good in your eyes? Please help me out in this case. And then while Isaiah is still in the middle of the court, probably just going out in the court, in the yard of the king palace, the Lord said to him, Isaiah, go back to King Hezekiah, tell him I will heal him, and he shall go to the house of the Lord. And it's not just that. Healing is one thing, but adding life to one people is a different thing. For example, someone may have a cancer, and the people may be healed from it. But then, how long will it last? Will it last for a day, a month, a year? And I know some cancer survivor or terminal illness survivor, they usually don't last that long. unless God's miracle is really with them. For example, I believe on the forget what year was it, but it was the first surgery performed to transplant heart surgery. So this man, he has what do you call it, a cardiovascular disease. And at that time, implanting heart is something bizarre or something that is weird, never heard before. So one of the doctor, he decided to do this experiment. Well, sort of experiment treatment, because this person is going to die anyway, so might as well try this new heart transplantation. At that time, it was never heard before. So he tried, he put the heart into the person, and he lives. But only for 30 days, then the person died because of complications. So healing is one thing, but for the person to stay healthy for an extended period of time is something amazing. But God is more amazing. He says in verse 6, "And I will add unto thy days 15 years." So first, God says to Hezekiah, "You're going to die." And then he says, "No, I'm going to heal you, and you're going to live for 15 more years. And I will deliver thee and the city out of the hand of the king of Assyria, and I will defend this city for mine own sake and for my servant David's sake." So this is not just one promise. What God is saying to Hezekiah is basically saying like this: you are sick, you're supposed to die, but I'm going to heal you. Not only that, I will free you from your enemies, and I will make you the wealthiest king in this area. Just like saying to people who are sick, I believe you have seen people who have terminal illness and they spend all their money in order to get healing, right? You see all these people from being rich, and when they got sick, they become very poor. So God's saying to this man is like this. It's equivalent to saying a patient who are very poor because of sickness like this. You're supposed to die, but I'm going to heal you. I'm going to extend your years, your life to 15 years. And not only that, I'm going to give you rich, I'm going to give you money, I'm going to give you houses, cars, whatever you want. And you will be the richest man in town again. So something amazing that God's promises to Hezekiah. And I believe we can learn from this. We can see this story in two ways. The first way is a patient, the one who is sick. And the second of all is as the one who's taking care of the sick. I believe the later part is more applicable to many of us. We have a God, an amazing God. And during your work, I believe you have seen many people who are dying. In the emergency room, whatever it may be, a lot of people die because they don't know better. And you have seen them die right in front of your eyes. Many times, probably someone who are operating, person in the table, and this person is definitely going to die. What will be your first response? Are you going to say, "Oh, this man is hopeless"? Or are you going to cry to the Lord and say, "Lord, please help this man. Give this man another chance to live"? What will be your response? Continuing on to the story, something I want to focus on this story is how amazing God is. Verse 7. And Isaiah said, "Take a lump of figs," and they took and laid it on the boil, and he, talking about Hezekiah, recovered. And Hezekiah said unto Isaiah, "What shall be the sign that the Lord will heal me, and that I shall go up into the house of the Lord on the third day?" And Isaiah said this, "This sign shalt thou have of the Lord, that the Lord will do the thing that he had spoken. Shall the shadow go forward 10 degrees, or go back 10 degrees? Have any of you seen a sundial? So at that time they don't have a clock like we have right now. They have what you call a sundial. So basically how it works, it depends on the sun. If so for now it's 8 o'clock. The sun, I don't have the picture, should I bring one? But anyway, the way the sundial works is that the shadow follows wherever the sun. If it's if the sun goes, if it's going to the afternoon, the shadow will show that it is already in the afternoon. So it's basically depending on the shadow. Now, if normally the shadow will go clockwise or go forward. It's in the Bible. It says go forward means the days goes on. So from 8, now it's like 8 something, like 8:10, and then if you go to the 10 a.m., the sun will go forward. Now for the shadow to go backward, it means the sun has also to go backward. Okay, this is something amazing, but I'm going to read more. It says, Hezekiah says, it is a light thing or an easy thing for the shadow to go down 10 degrees. Nay, let the shadow return backward 10 degrees. This is impossible in our eyes. When you go out and you look at the sun, it's easy for the sun to go down, but for the sun to reverse, that is a supernatural power, is it not? And something more amazing, this is what I learned from Hezekiah's sickness or miracle that God gave to Hezekiah. But before that, I want to read it first. And Isaiah the prophet cried unto the Lord, and he brought the shadow 10 degrees backward, by which it had gone down in the dial of Ahaz. So God made the sun goes backward. And if you remember the classes you learned in high school, whatever, when you learn about geography or the sun, whatever subject, the sun doesn't move. It is the earth that is moving, right? Is that right? Yes, okay. So for the sun to go backward, it means our earth has to go backwards. The earth goes backward 10 degrees. For God, this is only a sign to show that Hezekiah, I will answer your prayer, and this is the proof. He do something impossible in the human eyes. For the planet Earth to go backward, that's something crazy. I don't think we've ever seen that before. This is the first time it happened, and I don't think it never happened before. The only time it happened was like the earth stood still when Moses hold his hand and the sun just stays still, doesn't move anyway. So this is a great miracle. And I want to tell you this. When a crisis came into your life, when you're treating your patient and they are going to die, definitely, for sure, the proof, all the CT scan, whatever, and you name it, everything, I don't know the terms, and this patient, it is surely going to die. What will be your first response as a physician or a nurse? Are you going to pray to the Lord, or are you just going to let this man die? And I want to tell you, if you're truly sincere in asking for this patient's healing, and if you ask of the Lord, Lord, please show your glory, so that many people came here, I believe, are not Adventists. They came from the nearby and all that. They may not really know what is a Seventh-day Adventist is. They don't know, oh, this is a Seventh-day Adventist hospital. Seventh-day Adventist is probably just one of thousands of denominations. What makes these people special? I want to tell you this. We are special because we are God's remnant people. But then, people have to see the evidence. What shows that you are God's remnant people? And people will admit that we are indeed God's people when they see an evidence. And I want to tell you this. Health is one of the great evidence that we are of the Lord. Because I believe you have seen many miracles performed in this hospital, whether you know it or not. And I believe because this is God's sanitarium, He will perform miracles to provide, to give evidence to the people outside that this is indeed God's place. And if you sincerely pray for a healing, you consecrate your life, you devote your time to pray for this patient who are going to die, and you ask the Lord, Lord, please glorify your name. Show them that you are indeed exist, that you are indeed have power to move the stars, and all your stars are in your command. Please, Lord, help this person. And I will assure you, if it's going to glorify His name, He will definitely answer your prayer. But then, let's continue with the story of Hezekiah. At that time, after Hezekiah was healed, Baruch-Dakhobal, the son of Baal-Ladan, king of Babylon, sent letters and present to Hezekiah, for he had heard that Hezekiah had been sick. When I was reading this, I was wondering, why is this king of Babylon cared for this kingdom in somewhere in Judah? Like, why this king of Babylon, who is a great empire, cared for this small kingdom? And I want to, if you have your Bible, please turn with me to 2 Chronicles chapter 32, verse 31. This Bible verse will show you what is the reason this king of Babylon sent his son to go to Hezekiah. 2 Chronicles 32, verse 31. It says, "Howbeit in the business of the ambassadors of the princes of Babylon, who sent him unto him to inquire of the wonder that was done in the land, God left Hezekiah to try him, that he might know all that was in his heart." If I'm reading from another version, let me take a look just a moment. Okay, now the rest of the acts of Hezekiah, even in the matters of the envoys of the rulers of Babylon, who sent him to inquire of the wonder that happened in the land. Let's stop this first. For a Babylonian, they worship the sun god. They believe the sun is their god. And then, one day, suddenly, this sun goes backward. What will they think? They worship the sun, and then the sun supposed to go forward, but then why it goes backward? And then he heard people spreading rumors and all that. Oh, it was because the God of Hezekiah is the one who moved the sun backward. Or we know now, the earth goes backward. But anyway, for them, the sun goes backward. So then, man, what kind of God is Hezekiah? God is. This God moved the sun backward. In other words, it's saying that the God of Hezekiah, our God, is more powerful than the God of the king of Babylon, whom they believe is the sun god. He wants to show that God is more powerful than any superstition or belief or kind of gods that they have. And I want to draw a spiritual lesson from this. I came from Indonesia, and it is very common for sick people to go to witch doctor, or you call it makukulang, something like that. They go to the witch doctor because the doctors cannot heal them. And they go to these witch doctors and they do their magic, whatever, and maybe they're healed, maybe they're just delusion, whatever. I want to tell you that your God and my God is more powerful than all this witch doctor who, your God is more powerful than them. But then you have to ask earnestly, and you have to believe that He has the power to heal them. Because I don't know about here, but back home, I know some people, they went to Adventist hospital. They go to different hospitals and they cannot heal. The doctors there cannot heal them. They try every other medicine and they cannot be healed. So they go to the witch doctor and then they pay a lot of money to them. And the witch doctor do their magic, whatever, and they're not healed. And then they come to an Adventist hospital in Bandung, and